while the music is still playing. Let's dance while the floor is still swaying. This moment will never come again. So let's dance while the music's playing. Let's dance for the sweet love that we found. Let's dance and pass the love around. Don't you know that this moment will never ever come again? So let's dance for the sweet love we found. Oh yeah. Move it, baby. That's the way we both like it.
Well, good evening, everybody. Hi, I am Sandy Shellis, and I'm going to fix my little setup here so you can hear me. I got a good show tonight, and welcome everybody I see out there. I see Buzz and Kim and Kay. Hi, Kim and Rich, and very good, very good, very good. You don't have to, Kim. She doesn't have to do Facebook. Whoever's on Facebook, just share for me. It's okay. I got a good packed show tonight. It's been a long time. Well, I mean, we've been talking about all this financial shit, or let's say, what are the ulterior motives to all of the push for green and all the other things. You know, Michael Mann, we've been talking about what's behind his calling people, oh, now it's soft doom or doom porn, which I don't like. And it's reality that I'm talking about tonight. And reality is that the world goes round by money, you know. And so, hello, Suzanne, and hello, Osama. Let me chill here a little bit. So, we'll get started. I really want to do this because this is what is reality. People can talk about, well, we hate, capitalism and we don't like all this and blah, blah. But unless you really realize how this world works, how it really, really works, nothing's ever going to happen, if you don't know. You make comments, on all kinds of things, make comments, and this is my green snowing here. This is my green snow. Listen, I like to play with graphics. It's fun. They call you all toxic left. No, it's not anybody here. No, that's a human. That's a human had said in the chat. That's a Twitter thing. I don't. That's what they do on the Twitter. That's a whole different talk. That's a political talk that I'm not even going to get into. Anyhow, but hi, human, and hello, Tony. All right, so let's start. I want to talk about what is this ESG? Okay, what is ESG? And it's an investing term, right? Well, socially responsible investing, sustainable investing, mission-related investing. Yes, that's sort of what it is. But these big institutions, all the universities, all the stock market is moving towards this way because they see there's money to be made, right? So ESG it's the consideration of the environmental, social, and governance factors alongside financial aspects in the investment decision-making process. Now, I won't have to worry about that. I don't have any money to invest, but a lot of us might not. But we sure should understand what is happening in the bigger global picture, the big picture of well, maybe why we are where we are, and is the natural evolution to move towards these aspects in the metrics of data for these ESG strategies. They're like industry specific issues. So they're going to take into consideration climate change, people and labor management, corporate governance, diversity, privacy, and data security, among others. Now, for example, a mining company and a financial company. And like I said, universities, because they invest heavy. And think about it. I'm going to show you a video that does talk about this, all of this. But I'm just going to explain it a little bit to begin with. So it started in the 60s, actually. It was socially responsible investing, with investors excluding stocks or industries from their portfolios based on things like tobacco production or involvement in apartheid. Remember? I mean, so people were investing, okay, it's our stock market. How long has the stock market been a thing? I don't have that, but if one of you has one of those little, how a lot of you always have those little pieces of information. Well, I appreciate if somebody finds it, but so, ethical considerations, alignment with values that remain common motivations of many ESG investors, but the field is rapidly growing and it's evolving. And I know this because although I have been medically retired, one of the investment choices with our at the university is TIAA-CREF, which is teachers, insurance and annuity. And they had a social choice account. So you could choose that. And that's where I had anything I ever had, which is gone now. Well, anyway, I think, hey, so anyway, that's what's going on in the big picture. This debate with these ESG investing, it revolves around the idea that incorporating these factors into the investment process could hurt performance. However, some studies suggest that companies with ESG practices actually displayed a lower cost of capital, lower volatility, and fewer instances of bribery, corruption, and fraud, which is at least, well, it's not just the American way, folks, because this is global. This is all global. These investment companies are global. Hey, Diane Russell, nice to see you. I wasn't at Nicole's today. I'm sorry. I botched up the time. So, a higher cost, right, of capital, higher volatility due to controversies and other incidences such as spills and labor strikes and fraud and accounting and other governance irregularities, that would make someone want to get out of the conventional fossil fuel kind of stocks, if you have a portfolio. But it may come as no surprise to them. But these, as I said, the numerous, the academic, the investor, these studies in recent years found lower risk and even outperformance over the long term for portfolios that integrated key ESG factors alongside rigorous financial analysis, right? So that's what I'm going to start with, just a little going over that. And then what we're going to do, and I got to lower this a little bit. What we're going to do is then talk about, I have some articles. We're going to look at some investment companies. But first, since I gave you that little intro, and I don't know if Human is still here, but stick with us, Human. Stick with us. Anyway, I'm going to play this little video I put together. And now that you're all with me, and I'm going to chill for a second, and you're going to get a little more sense of where we're going. Just a little bit more.
Socially responsible investing is one name amongst many for describing an investment strategy which is based around doing good. The methods of approaching this vary depending on many factors, which is reflected in those different descriptions. The key ingredient, however, is that you consciously aim to make your investment portfolio responsible, in the sense that it backs up one or more of these causes. A socially responsible portfolio will be focused on investing into companies or funds which apply strict criteria to meet your social goals. The trend for investing in this way is now very strong, but some people believe this comes at the price of lowering returns or narrowing the investment options. Recent surveys show that this is not the case, and with the growth in this market, the choice of investments is often considerable. This idea, using your investment portfolio to back good ethical practices, environmental causes, corporate governance, or a mix of these, is a perfect way to combine two objectives, which are to invest successfully for personal reasons at the same time as contributing positively to the wider society. If you would like to explore this way of investing, at Maxlight Financial, we have the expertise to help and advise you.
So there you go. Blackstone cares about the environment, and Blackstone cares about its people. Blackstone is one of the big ones. Big ones. So I see you're all having a pretty good conversation out there. Rich is Boomer you. Hi. It takes rethinking how money moves and where. Oh, yeah. But honey, money makes the world go round. This is never going to be any different. It's just not. So what I want to do right now is fix my screen so I can fit it. And I'm going to show you the first article we're going to look at tonight. And that is from Investopedia. Let's see how this looks. Okay. No, wait, is this Investopedia? I don't remember now. All right. Yep, it is. Let's go. You know, I got to tell you guys, I have to chill a little. I really hurt all day today. It's one of those really shitty days. And once I got moving on this, I was in every single room of the house with my laptop and my little desk thing that I work on. So if I'm a little off tonight, it's just because I friggin' hurt. But there you go. We'll keep going. It's wow. Okay, so sustainable living, according to Investopedia, they've got a lot of different articles. Education, market simulator, your money. I really wanted to get that article, sustainable investing. I don't know what happened to it. But Investopedia has a lot of information on what's going on and these companies. And you think we're ever really going to get out of this? I mean, Richard Wolff talks about it, but I don't know. Let's move over to the greenwashing. We already know what the other deals are. We already know that sustainable investing, it's not going to save the planet. But what I want to do is let's go through this. Let me get my thoughts together. Let's go through this, and then we're going to talk about the whole point of all this. It's just to keep going with the game. So they call greenwashing and investing. Let's see what's greenwashing and investing. And we love that wealth management, Some of us have some, though. And we were lucky. It depends on who you are and where you worked and what you did. A lot of Americans, though, the majority of Americans don't. And actually, before I go into this, I went through these funds that were specific to Africa. And I thought, wow, how are you exploiting? I didn't even want to bring it in, exploiting Africa any more than it's already been exploited. So if you are a purpose-driven investor, then you've selected investments based on their positive environmental or social impact and the prospect of favorable returns. You've established a portfolio that mirrors your values. Oh boy. But how can you handle, how can you be sure that every company or fund in your investment portfolio is genuinely committed to a higher set of business standards? Could you be greenwashed and not know it? Oh my goodness. Could you be greenwashed and not know it? I think that if you're greenwashed, that means that to be greenwashed gets the Environmental Coffee House flush of the day. All right? All right, we know what greenhouse is. Okay. It's a basic form. It uses manipulation and misinformation to garner consumer confidence, like everything, around a company's environmental, social, or governance ESG claims. Now, according to Chad Burlingame, CFA, CAIA, Director of Impact Investing at the U.S. Bank, greenwashing is marketing hype that applies to companies overstating their efforts. What do you want to figure the percentage of that is? It also shows up in the investment industry when a fund gets relabeled as impact or when an investment manager repurposes it as impact. Companies across the globe may represent their green credentials to deceive investors and consumers for economic gain or public favor. Greenwashing can be disguised in many ways. An organizer states it's green conscious when in reality it has no concrete green initiatives. A business invests more advertising dollars on its environmentally friendly brands than it spends on positive green practices or sustainability programs. Yeah, those green marketing companies, making those green commercials. A company maintains effective waste reduction programs during manufacturing, but its end product is harmful to the environment. So how do you uncover this? You want to uncover this, so you want to put some of your money, whatever's invested. And if you're a teacher or you are a firefighter, there's a retirement there for you, and it's still there. Still there. Stock market's going up. It does. It's going up because even though it's a small percent of the world, it's a huge percent of the world. It's not just the 1%ers that play stock. So I guess the thinking about behind all this is if you're going to invest, you might as well invest and not feel like shit about it. If you are a middle of the road, centrist person that doesn't really get the bigger picture, or you're just really, you are conscious, and you have some money to play with. However, greenwashing is a thing. Obviously it is. You can uncover it. Now, you don't have to be an investigative reporter to uncover the questionable greenwashing practices. They say here, you look for red flags by overused industry language like eco-friendly or all natural, claimed by thousands of companies. And my God, that's all over Facebook and Twitter. All natural, eco-friendly, all of those advertisements for all the shit that's being sold that I am honestly going to say that I have bought. I'm not exactly Miss Perfect. Not at all. I was thinking about it. Half the shit I have is useless bullshit. Okay, and misleading graphics. That's right. Mountains and trees and streams. Oh, on plastic bottles. On plastic bottles, right? They portray environmental compassion, more like environmental bullshit. Award claims. A brand states it's the best environmental product in the industry without the proof. Or it's purposely vague text. Poorly worded language that overhypes a product, and it's intended to mislead, like most things, unfortunately. Seals and labels. Text featuring award-winning product on a simulated environmental symbol. Scientific terms and buzzwords. 100% biodegradable or 100% compostable product claims. And boy, I bought that bullshit. I bought that bullshit when I had a party in 2018. And I sure did. And then, you know what? The shit was not compostable. I couldn't put it in a compost. It would compost maybe over 150 years instead of 1,000 years. Oh my God, I'm telling you, right? So companies across the globe, they do. They represent their green credentials to deceive investors for economic gain or public favor. You think? Oh my God. So what Financial Times is telling you is to seek investment help to avoid greenwashing. Your portfolio, if you're so lucky to have a portfolio, may already be focused on impact investments, but it can be useful to reevaluate it with a critical eye to the greenwashing. So you may, be new to impact investing and you are unsure where and how to begin. So in any case, consider working with a financial professional at your next step, okay? So ESG criteria, I'm just going to go down a little bit. Environmental factors such as climate change, energy efficiency, pollution, water scarcity, or biodiversity. This is to make sure that their corporate reputation is definitely going in these ways, like social factors such as human rights, gender, and racial diversity. So actually, don't fucking invest in Amazon. Governance factors such as board composition, executive pay, audit committee, lobbying activities, or political contributions. And furthermore, find your financial professional that can review data and eliminate ambiguity in 3 critical investment areas when performing their due diligence, which is benefits. Does the investment generate non-financial ESG benefits in addition to a financial return? Significance. How significant are ESG factors to the financial performance? And effort. Do the results come from authentic ESG efforts or just chance? So investigate, right? Really, seriously. Not that it may do any good. Do you really? I don't know if it's really going to do any good. I sound like, okay, I'm doomist. Or it's certainly, I'm not talking about doom porn tonight. But I do think about all these things with the simplicity that a lot of us just think about when the enormity of what's out there is just, it's overwhelming. And I'm going to show you the investment companies that I found. But first, I got a little ditty from Yahoo. Actually, it's Yahoo stocks to make the most of the bull run in 2021. Now, look at the picture. Green dollar signs. I should copy and paste that, right? So anyway, here we go. Gosh. These ESG companies, and this is Yahoo, so this is like the every person that's, can come across this on the internet, or ones known for their focus on environmental, social, or governance, like we said, you saw, have certainly come of age this year, with many seeing a stupendous rise in their stock prices. While the coronavirus pandemic has ravaged the global economy vis-a-vis the stock markets, ESG stocks were the most sought after as investors showed keen interest in companies that execute good governance. And I wonder, was that in relationship to the president that we just got rid of, to the fascist takeover we almost had? Good governance. I certainly don't think you'll find that in the Trump properties. I'm sorry, but I had to put my little dig in there because you won't. So what's more, with corona cases showing no signs of dropping in the United States and hospitalization rates picking up, ESG stocks will continue to be in demand next year as well. Also, ESG investing is likely to be one of the biggest trends worldwide, thanks to the emergence of eco-investing. Nowadays, climate change is a grave concern, and companies sensitive to the issue in all likelihood will see investors pouring money into them. After all, an astute investor always follows the trend, and in this case, it's noting, but socially It's nothing but socially responsible investing. Morgan Stanley strategist led by Jessica Alsford, as quoted in a Barron's article, said that ESG investing revolution is expected to continue into the new year. Oh my. In fact, cash inflows into the ESG funds increased significantly this year, with flows in the month of November touching $47 billion, way more than the average of $13 billion in 2019, added the strategist. They further emphasized that stocks that had exposure to the European Green New Deal, or the Green Deal, focused on climate change reform in the United States and China's net zero ambitions were the ones that have done exceedingly well this year. So when you see all that fighting out there on Twitter and people, being ugly about, China and India, and we're all screwed up. All of the big nations are screwed up. But a lot of, there's research going on in every country. There's research going on. So, of course, they're going to have a focus on greening for the future, for whatever future they think there's going to be, right? And this is the big picture. This is the environment we live in globally. We live in an investment. Well, our country's an oligarchy, but people work for these oligarchies that have investments. They just do. So, talking about the European Green New Deal, the European Union has pledged to improve Europe's climate by 2050 by applying technologies such as hydrogen and fuel cells. Similarly, in the United States, people expect more investment in clean energy products like batteries and electric vehicles sooner than later. So part of the problem, and I guess it's not a problem for some and it's a problem for others, is that to be energy independent in the green arena requires things like Thacker Pass in Nevada to be open pit mine for lithium. And I had interviewed Max Wilbert about that. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You really are. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But people are going to. This is what's happening. It's worth pointing out that the EV companies, alternative energy plays, and those involved in hydrogen power generation are ESG stocks that have, in particular, seen a strong run-up in share prices this year. Yep. And they're mostly likely to witness a similar trend next year. In fact, the EV evolution is projected to continue over the next decade as people are now focusing on curbing CO2 emission. So it's finally in the mainstream. But of course, it's always in a mainstream as a money-making opportunity, right? All right, so let's go. We'll go on. I'm not going to read all of it. They start talking about the stocks. This is interesting. This is really interesting. The green stocks, okay? Tesla. We all know about Tesla, right? General Motors. Now they're aiming to catch up with Tesla in the EV segment. Now remember, we'll just AES Corporation, Fuel Cell Energies, Ultra Clean Power Plants, Emphas Energy. Now who is, and I'm not putting this down, I'm not bashing, I'm just simply giving information. Jennifer Granholm is now the Department of Energy Secretary in the United States. And so she will be working with General Motors for EV. She'll be working with all these companies to go to this next round of where the investing is, And this is reality, folks. Whatever you want to call it, neoliberal, conservative, right-wing, left-wing, whatever you want to call it, this is reality. And while people are busily scurrying to invest, glaciers in India are, toppling over and killing people. Today I was going to do my show. I was thinking of doing my show on panic, the word panic, because that's a big controversy, the word panic. The way Greta used the word panic, and then the way Michael Mann is saying that or I'm not picking on him. Maybe I got to think of somebody else. How about Bjorn, what's his name? Lomborg. Okay, there's another guy, Lomborg. And they're all talking about the same thing. It's basically invest. Lomborg I listened to today, and I'll have to get the link to that. And this guy's talking about all these investments but it's all growth. It's all the growth paradigm. Grow. Nobody's ever going to stop growing until we can't. Until we what? Completely destroy the biosphere. And again, I don't want to do this. I want to give you information so you see the bigger picture, and those of you that may not see the bigger picture, because who knows, for whatever reason. Who sits here and looks at investment companies all day? I mean, I did, so I could bring this to you. So here's one. This is a company called Schroders. And Schroders is global sustainable growth. Long-term value created through long-lasting relationships. And they have they're built on, now see, here they go. The long-term success of a company is built on a, buzzwords, complex ecosystem of sustainable behavior. So they're talking about investing and investors and companies and corporations as an ecosystem. You see the mind bend there? You see it? It's a mind bend there, right? Okay. And they have, I really wanted to download her, but I can't play it for you because I never figured out if I play this, you won't hear it unless I fart around with all this shit, which I'm not going to do. Basically, she's just talking about, it's just wonderful and sustainable and green and all this. So here we go. This company particularly has a lot of, if you look to invest and you do the research like Financial Times says, there's no reason why you shouldn't plug your money into one of these, not a fossil fuel fund. I mean, really, quite frankly. So they have why corporate karma is crucial for your investment returns. Oh my God, what an industry, huh? Taking other people's money. They did it very well for the last 4 years. And this is global, folks. It's global. It's not just local. It's global. So that's Schroeder. And then there's Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley comes in with their insights and what they're doing, and they have an article here that I thought was pretty interesting called "Investors May Be Overlooking Attractive and Impactful Climate-Related Investments Because of False Beliefs That the Opportunities Are More Limited Than They Are." But I'm not going to read the whole thing. They just pretty much say, well, there's myths. The climate problem is all about global warming. Well, we know that that's not. It's pollution, resource scarcity, waste management. They're not wrong here. So they must have got a good scientist or a science writer on board. And they're not stupid. They're a big investment firm. They're going to go where they know the money is. Myth number 2, an ESG strategy addresses climate solutions. Now, that's an interesting one. They say these environmental, social, and governance risk factors increase. It's becoming a core. But it's more than just, it's creating positive climate impact, but it requires more than just what they say, this ESG thing. It involves actively investing in these businesses, typically putting primary capital to work in a private equity context where core businesses core business activities create new positive effects on the environment. Number 3, renewable energy is the main solution. Here we go. Okay. Morgan Stanley. Renewables have historically been a cornerstone of climate investing. transportation, minimize the carbon impact of transportation. It's not just about funding electric cars. It's a myriad of companies. There's battery swapping services to electric vehicle charging stations, software to contribute to eco-friendly transportation in a less visible way. What the hell is that? Sign up for Morgan Stanley. No, thank you. No, and everyday consumption. Then talk about green chemistry. Doesn't get the same attention as alternative energy, but it offers ample room for reducing the use of fossil fuel derivatives in items ranging from packaging materials to paints and furniture polish. So the same is true of new business models around recycling, compostable package materials, waste to energy generation, and waste water processing. And food. Demand for meat protein is growing, along with the world's population. Yep. And we got to feed the world's population. So come on, let's make some money off this. And livestock, it's a major source of emission of greenhouse gas methane, which is approximately 30 times worse than CO2. Alternatives such as sustainable seafood that are far more carbon-friendly sources of protein could be impactful to both the environment and the food markets. So don't let anybody tell you Morgan Stanley is not looking to invest in these companies that are like lab-grown meat. They are. Oh, they are. You know, long after I'm gone, if the planet is still here, our grandkids, well, I'm not having any grandkids, but might be eating meat from a factory, and maybe factory farming will go away. Maybe it will go away. Wouldn't that be a dream? That would be a dream, huh? So improved technology, it's now feasible to deploy renewable energy in very small spaces or across remote geographies. Solar panel prices have declined by more than 60% over the past decade. And they go down to varying prices. Energy prices, along with solar and wind resources, vary within regions. This makes renewables very competitive in small places and less so in others. And so investors can target specific projects, like maybe a project that targets communities and low-cost solar, like I wish I could have access to, even though I know it's more for me is more to be off-grid completely. It's not just for the benefits. It's so I don't have to be beholden to anybody. I can build my gate at the end of my driveway and nobody bother me. That's basically my thoughts. So myth number 5, energy stage clean tech investing is a wild goose chase. Like other areas of early stage investing, clean technology has experienced a few boom-bust cycles with some high-profile successes and failures. A lot of early attention has been focused on grand, overarching solutions, yet a number of low-profile projects may prove to be more realistic and promising. For example, instead of chasing the silver bullet for desalination at scale, savvy investors are looking at software that regulates water system pumps for filtration. And then myth number 6, climate investing depends highly on political and regulatory changes. You know, this is a pretty good article for Morgan Stanley, a big investment firm. I guess they have the money to have the researchers now. But it's they are ultra capitalists in the system, but they're telling the truth. I mean, this is an article that's explaining just what the hell's going on. So the regulatory changes consider the U.S. While the federal government has taken a different direction on climate initiatives, individual states and cities are rolling out ambitious plans of their own. In March, New Mexico joined California, Hawaii, and the District of Columbia in setting a goal for all renewable and carbon-free electricity by 2045. Meanwhile, many states in the South and Southwest have gotten behind the boom in solar and wind energy production. So that is Morgan Stanley. And I'm going to tell you, in the next 10 years, while the biosphere is being destroyed even worse, while we are going to continue to mine and drill and pump and spew and whatever. This investment, though, is going to take off. So think about the horse and buggy. Think about then the gasoline engine, internal combustion, and now EVs. The only difference is I think EVs will be the last vehicle human beings will ever ride. I mean, is that a doomist statement? I guess I'm hung up on this whole doomist bullshit thing because I do think so. I don't know when. I certainly hope my, I don't want to see extinction. I don't want to see any of it. I just don't know, guys. I just don't know how in the hell we're ever really going to. I listened to Elizabeth Colbert today on Collapse Chronicles, and Sam had put on an NPR piece, and she had been talking about her new book, Under White Skies, and she's talking about some of the technology, and the technology like carbon capture, ladder-like machines in everybody's house. I mean, it seems so strange, and I got angry because all I could think of was, well, how are we going to build all this shit? You're going to burn more carbon regardless to build all this stuff to suck up more carbon. We have carbon from 20 fucking years ago that's still in the air. I'm trying to be realistic here. I don't like the word solution, but again, these people are out there. These investors, these people with money, the big money, they are going to push for what the next big thing is. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. And even if you're not a part of it, we might as well sit back and watch it, right? Right. So let's go on to Blackstone. Blackstone, that's the video I showed you. Blackstone is a very Blackstone's talked about a lot out there in the news. It is. And don't mix it up with the mercenary. The mercenaries. What is that? Somebody will put it in there. So they also have sustainability as the core of their business. 5 years ago, I'd like to go back and see what all these companies, they didn't have any of this shit on there. Like the one I read about the tobacco industry. If you were an investor and you were like maybe a school district that didn't want to be investing in tobacco, that was about the gist of it, or pesticides. But so sustainability is the core of their business. And there's the two guys that are just, oh my God, they're going to reduce their environmental impact. They are going to invest in decreasing carbon emissions, expanding solar capacity, and making offices greener. And it's all beautiful and it's all wonderful. And I want to see it happen. Why not? It's just that, we could go out there. And I love them to death, these guys at the Green Flame. We can go out there and protest and sit in Nevada till they arrest us and shovel us off, because that's what they're going to do. The movement is beautiful, but it's not going to, it's not, I don't know. What's sustainable? What's sustainable anymore? They're cracking down on protesters in every corner of our world. Venezuela, Myanmar, anywhere, everywhere. United States, everywhere. Everywhere. They want to talk about building existing sustainability initiatives. They're all pretty much saying the same thing. They have set a goal to reduce carbon emissions by 15% across all new control investments where we regulate the energy use. All right, so I'm really not going to go through them anymore. It was just interesting to show you guys these companies that are out there that are doing their thing, and they're going to do their thing regardless of whether you or I or AOC or any of them. I mean, AOC, she's a Green New Dealer, And the progressives a lot are for the Green New Deal. No. And the Green New Deal, I'd rather usher in the Green New Deal than the old fossil fuel, stinking, dirty, ugly, disgusting stuff. But again, the mines will be hidden from us. That's usually how it goes. That's usually how it goes. But I know technology, ain't it grand? That's why I'm here sitting with you. Technology's grand. This is a beautiful thing, right? All right, guys. So I have been 50 minutes, and I think that this was pretty good. It seems like there's a lot of you here having good discussions. And hi, Rollins Witch, sustainability. Yeah, it is. It's the new Madison Avenue word more than ever. It was the word, let me tell you something, before it was Madison Avenue, it was in the universities. Everything was sustainable, blah, blah, blah. At my school, the universities are where it started first, where I worked. The green initiatives. So, yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. If we don't do something, yeah. That's where it goes every time. Okay, let's see. Tony says, yeah, technology is a good thing because you guys get to be in cyberspace with me. Without it, Wi-Fi, I would cry. I know. I think to be quite realistic here, that's probably why I could hold myself into my compound here, because I have this. Hypocrite much? Yeah. Hypocrite much. I had that song on earlier and I was like singing, but I won't sing on here. I didn't want to sing on here. All right, guys. It has been a lovely evening talking about investment firms. All right. I'm going to play the closing music and we'll talk a few comments here. Let's see. I see mainstream papers are starting to cotton on everything we've been saying. Copy? Cotton? All right. Paving the deserts with solar panels does not seem very sustainable regarding desert wildlife and vegetation. No. And I don't know. Hi, Dan. Nice to have you with us. I'm not trying to be a downer. It's just, this is what's out there. This is what's happening. There is not, it's, I'm not saying if you can't beat them, join them, because I have every hope that the fight is still in everyone. And I really hope that the younger people do not lose the fight in them, because they are brainwashed by technology, or they are swashed by the new things that are going to come out next by Apple. I mean, that's a whole other show. That's a whole entire other show. All right, guys. Thank you for listening, Gary. It was nice to see you, and Rick and Gazer, and I'm glad that you came. And and Diane, I'm really happy to see you. And Jean, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you were here, Jean. And Osama and Tanya. Absolutely. We are woke, but this is what's out there. If you got any money, you're going to end up wanting to put it into something like that, because you're not going to want to put it in fossil fuel industry. Nope. So sustainability is, it's where it's at, guys. Yeah. It's where it's at. All right. You guys have the most wonderful night. As I say goodbye, and I have to still figure out how to unclick everything with the push button.